Hey guys, it's Ty with Ty the Dog Guy on the Daily, and I'm out with my dog Chocolate Chip. We're on a walk here, and the other day I did a podcast on dog breeds and saying that, look, you know, what's written in that book about your dog breed may not be the truth because of how these dogs are bred and have been bred over the past 50, 100 years, depending on the breed. And that's important to understand. But another thing that's important to understand is that there often are, even though breeds have changed, there can be certain characteristics that are pretty common within, you know, certain breeds. That's not always the case, but it can be. And so I find for some reason that you see that this is being ignored these days. And so what I mean by that is you'll see somebody that says, well, pit bulls are great dogs. They're amazing dogs. They're only ever mean if you train them to be, or if you neglect them, or if, you know, they were trained to be nasty or whatever. And this just isn't true. I mean, does that happen? Sure. You know, some people do really dumb things and they end up with a pit bull that's aggressive. But for that person, there's another person who got the pit bull and did things well. You know, they raised the dog well, they socialized it, they did their best in training. They made mistakes, everyone does, but they did a good job. And so, Chip, but they nevertheless ended up with a dog that has aggression problems. And I often hear people say so many times, oh, it's all in how you raise the dog, and this is just not true. That can be a piece. You know, a dog is a composite of its genetics and a composite of its upbringing / training / experience and exposure. But to say that it's only one or only the other is never, ever the case. And so that's where I fear that so many pit bull lovers, you know, folks that love pit bulls, and I do the breed, you know, do the pit bull such an injustice. Because what happens is, you know, they become apologists and they say, oh, it's, you know, this breed is fine, and it, you know, the only time it ever does something wrong is when, you know, is when it was raised poorly. And so that person that spreads that, oftentimes you'll find people that believe that. And I can't tell you how many times we've had somebody that's 65 years old and doesn't walk well and doesn't have great health, and they get a pit bull. And the reason why is because they were told that, oh, all pit bulls are very nice and they're very sweet, and the only time they're ever, you know, really mean is if, you know, you raise them to be that way. And this, you know, this senior citizen says, well, I'm not going to raise a dog to be that way. And then what they end up with is a dog with huge drive, a lot of intensity, and if they don't do perfect socialization, a dog that maybe even gets some dog aggression. Or even if they do good socialization, maybe they end up with a dog with dog aggression. And so like I say, it's important, I think, to not profile by the breed and say, oh, well, this is a breed, and so therefore it's going to be able to do this, that, or the other. I think it's important to not do that. And at the same time, almost reverse, it's important to understand what certain breeds are more capable of at times. And so I'm saying profile while not profiling. I know maybe that sounds like a conflict. But what I'm getting at is it's so important to recognize what you have, to look at each dog as an individual, understand what its background means, and understand that there's plenty of folks who've done a great job with their dog that still end up with problems. I can't tell you how many clients I've sat with who cry to me, literally tears, you know, the first time we meet, saying, oh, we swear we've done a good job. We've never beat the dog. We've never been mean to the dog. And still he's aggressive. And all my friends on Facebook say that dogs are only aggressive if you train them to be that way. I just don't understand it. You know, and they're torn to pieces because of this. When in reality, like I say, you know, the dog just had a predisposition towards aggression that can, you know, be improved / fixed / helped. But it's not always the fault of the owner. Although sometimes it can be, like I say. So anyways, like I say, be very careful when profiling breeds. Understand what it means, you know, to profile a breed. Understand what it doesn't mean. And you're going to be in much better shape.